Hello YouTube and welcome back to part 35 of Chris Chan, a comprehensive documentary. It's nearly it's about 10 to 4 in the afternoon. I'm gonna get this one done and then basically go for a lovely little walk before we come back and almost wrap things up, because we really are now almost 6 videos left to go, and I spent a large part of the last video talking about something that's going to be coming up in this video. But let's see where this goes now. It left with basically the beginning of the Tom Girl saga, where Chris decided that he'd be much better in a skirt and, calling himself a girl from now on. So we're going to see how people have responded to this. So if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, let's get started. Part 35 in 3, 2, 1, and...
What made him this way? What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated?
Not sure anymore.
This is the story of Chris Chan.
Dun, 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 dun. Damn, part 35.
On May 26th, 2011, Christian was directed to a troll-created forum site called Tomboys and Tomgirls of Virginia. He signed up under the username Cookie Dashy, using the character Apple Dash from the cartoon series My Little Pony Friendship is Magic as his avatar, and made an introductory post. Even though he did not explicitly reveal his true identity, his unique writing style was unmistakable. Hello, fellow Tomgirls, close parentheses. Y'all may address me by my screen name in the board talk. I like music, makeup, dressing up in my mini, having fun and hanging with my girlfriends, karaoke, video games, crafting, and art. I am also empathetic, so I can understand other people's feelings as well as my own. I am a dynamic, complex individual. I do not have many dude pals because I have my own...
Yeah, also, I'd imagine... Nah, never mind, it's not important.
...mental hang-ups against the majority of them. Nothing personal. I have a history of being bullied by some mean brutes, as well as homosexuals, over the internet. Cyberbullies/trolls/anons are a hot button with me. I prefer not to discuss that issue further, and I'm an all-around good, friendly, honest, heterosexual tomgirl. Thank you all for offering me respect, as I respect each of you and your opinions on the board. Later that day, he made a post about coming out as a tomgirl to his parents, revealing that his mother told him that she didn't raise up a daughter and that his father called him a fag. Chris then revealed that he started using the ladies' bathroom, saying that it felt good and right. But after 4...
Again, based on what I said last time concerning the restroom thing, no, I don't particularly think it was a good idea for Chris to do this.
4 visits to the women's facilities, a woman complained about him to a so-called brute male, who accosted him, embarrassing him. He was nevertheless determined to continue to use the women's bathroom as long as he wore a skirt.
Oh boy.
Also on that same day, forum user Danielle the Riveter began organizing a Tomboys and Tomgirls meetup for July. Chris suggested that they could meet up in Applebee's in Charlottesville, which was his frequent hangout where he sang karaoke on Mondays. Even though the forum looked promising, he was still wary of users' authenticities, as revealed in an email to Jackie. Despite her encouragement, he refused to engage with them in real life. He also said to her that he began to think of himself as a lesbian.
How? How did he consider himself a lesbian? Guys, let me settle this whole thing once and for all. I could call myself a lesbian because I'm attracted to women. That doesn't mean anything, and what does he mean attracted to as a lesbian? I don't understand that. That's ridiculous. If Chris was female, he would, and if he was attracted to women, then that would make him a lesbian. But no, he's male, and he called himself a Tom girl. He didn't call himself a girl. Remember, at this point.
Chris then stated on the forum that his mother had tried to bribe him into wearing male underwear again, but he relented. He continued to make sporadic comments and posts on the forum throughout the month. On June 10th, Christian uploaded a new animation on Flipnote Hatina, in which he complains about the program not being made available on Nintendo's latest handheld console, the Nintendo 3DS, which he had recently purchased.
Nintendo 3DS! The update, eShop, and internet capabilities are available today! Everything! Yay! Flipnote Studio should also be on a 3DS, but it's not available in the eShop. You cannot transfer it either. Don't make us wait. We want to play with our studio now. We don't want to wait for a new memo. Give it to us now by putting it in the eShop. Nintendo, we know you can do it. We want to rock and play in our studio on 3DS. Give it to us now. Do not make us wait too much longer. Please and thank you. Today!
I'll leave it up to you as to whether or not this form of this business proposal went as well as you possibly. Oh, am I kidding?
9 days later, he uploaded his last Flipnote on the platform, a 3-second looping animation of a hippo running around in circles. At around the same time, Chris made a post on the Tomboys and Tomgirls forum, lamenting over his current lack of friends. He commented that a friend of his told him that it would be difficult for him to find women who would want to engage with him sexually if he had no male friends. But due to his mental hang-ups against the male population, he found himself incapable of building friendships with men. Hence, he asked the forum members for advice. After numerous contributors told him about the benefits of using Facebook to keep in touch with their friends, Chris told them about the dangerous possibility of talking with trolls or cyberbullies who are pretending they were someone else, gaining their trust and seeking private information. He offered a couple of accounts of such occurrences as examples. Take for example the author of the comic book series featuring that yellow electric hedgehog, Sonichu.
Yeah, also again, Chris is not really good at being subtle, is he? He had to call out a very specific person and goes into detail.
If I remember correctly. Before a time, the author had a clean history.
Also his bad grammar. Yeah, very, very noticeable.
Then cyberbullies and trolls attacked him greatly. Now Googling his name will result in over 1 million results of hate and name soiling, especially from the blackmail and deceptions he had to endure. I, myself, had a page on Facebook. Things were good for me a while. Then I was attacked in 2005 by the trolls. They pretended to be my closest friends. They got a number of incriminating photos and details from me. They also hacked into my Facebook. It took me over a week before I was able to reset my password and email address, and upon reflection, I closed my Facebook account and left the online socializing for years. It is real, and they are vicious, crazy, wickedly smart people.
Or there are incredibly, ridiculously stupid people who give out information willy-nilly.
Throughout June, Christian and Jackie were trying to organize a meetup on the 4th of July. Jackie planned to go to Washington, D.C. then, and wanted Chris to come as well. He was hesitant regarding the long travel distance, and that his parents would most likely protest against the trip out of fear of him getting tricked again. After agreeing upon a financial arrangement, Jackie asked if her parents could call him so that they could get a better idea about what kind of person he was, though no such call ended up formulating. 2 days before the planned excursion, Chris finally revealed his plans to his mother. She disapproved of his motives, believing he was making the trip for the sole purpose of sex, and also made the case that the family cars were very troublesome and may break down along the way. Heartbroken by the news, Jackie suggested a compromise. She wanted him to dress up his inflatable sex doll as herself, with a picture of her face covering the sex doll's face. She requested that he take out the doll on date sites, such as McDonald's, and finish the day with Chris and the sex doll, enjoying the firework display in Charlottesville. Jackie wanted him to film the entire ordeal and share it privately with her via a file-sharing website. Christian told her that he wouldn't film any possibly incriminating videos, be they public or private. He added that they could still meet up some other time in Charlottesville. Jackie was crestfallen by his refusal, and that he would submit to his mother so easily. She highlighted that he didn't even consider getting a bus to her location. This resulted in many days of email arguing between Jackie and Chris. Jackie was bedridden in a state of uncontrollable sobbing, while Chris reflected on what it means to be in a relationship. After they reconciled and established that they both wanted to meet and advance their relationship forward, on July 11th, Jackie sent him a list of requirements for videos which he would film the following day. These were largely the same in concept as her previous proposed 4th of July date videos with a sex doll. He made 4 videos, which he shared privately with her. In the first video, Chris dances with a sex doll in his room.
And now, Jackie Pie, I'm gonna go ahead and sweep you off your feet. Even though right now you're sitting down.
And Chris just did this. He submitted to his mother, and now he just submits to Jackie just like that. Don't eat the thing, Chris.
Next, he took his blow-up doll for a drive.
And after having picked you up, Jackie, and given you a good dance and song, we are now heading out to the restaurant. We're gonna have some fun up the door and sitting on the car and eating our food. Yep. Yum yum. Very, very good. Yum yum. Do what you do, 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 doodly diddly do, do, what you do, what you do, what you do, what you do.
Chris looks mid-40s in that angle with that hair. And the hair.
The next scene was supposed to depict the McDonald's parking lot, though it was actually filmed in his yard.
Okay, so Jackie and I, we're here at the McDonald's parking lot. We are sitting on top of our car. After we just enjoyed some apple dippers and Happy Meal. It was really tasty. Yes, it was. And even better, my professor here fed me some of the apples. And I enjoyed that. Yes, it was very enjoyable. It was very good. So, Jackie Pie, what you want to do now? I say we make out. And then see where it goes from there. Alright.
What the hell is he doing?
God, it's hot out here.
The final clip depicted Chris and his sex doll in lieu of Jackie having sex in the Chandler's bathroom.
Here we go.
Okay, so, whilst he gets over his whoopee there just in a second, let's review exactly what's just happened. Chris has danced with a blow-up doll. He took it in his car. He made out with it while sitting on the... I'm glad he didn't do this in the McDonald's parking lot. Could you imagine what people would say, or what people would be just standing in the background, just looking, going, "What the hell is happening?" I don't understand. How does Chris think this is normal, or it seemed like one massive ploy? I don't understand.
Upon reviewing the videos, Jackie requested that he refilm the last clip of him having sex with a blow-up doll. In addition, she specified that she wanted Chris to act like a porn star with her, and repeatedly ask, "Who's your brony?" as he humped her.
Oh boy.
She also asked him to draw a cutie mark, inspired by the special cutie marks found on the haunches of My Little Pony characters on his backside. Christian did as he was told.
Hello.
Christian did as he was told. Oh boy. Just like a child.
Who's your brownie? Who's your brownie? Who's your brownie? Who's your brownie? Come on, you take it from here. Come on, Jackie Pie, you take it from your apple, Chris. Who's your brownie? Who's your brownie? You take it, apple, take it, Jackie Pie. Take it from your apple, Chris. Take it all day long, here's your brownie. I'm your brownie. I can be your brownie now. Oh, delicious.
That's the sound you make when you friggin' pull your groin out, put your groin out, or you pull a hamstring.
Oh, delicious.
No, it wasn't. That was not delicious.
He then filmed a short clip of him flashing his bottom to reveal his cutie mark, but due to the lighting, nothing could be seen.
Good.
Whoopsie doodles. I forgot to do the other fever. That's my friend. Here. Hope that's good enough. Thank you very much. I love you. Jackie Pie.
For her next video request,
I'm
she
gonna be
wanted
sick.
Chris to do a sexy tomgirl dance in Walmart, complete with hip gyrations, twirling, and throwing glitter in the air. Chris was hesitant to do the deed in public, citing the previous times he had been arrested. On July 14th, he filmed the requested video in a Walmart changing room.
I ain't gonna do it. I'm sorry, Jackie. I'm not gonna be able to do it in the aisles today. What am I not? What the hell's going on?
It's about 40 minutes
Anyway, enjoy the 2 minutes.
You know, I've covered this part before when I did the thing about the cake farts that's going to be coming up in a few minutes. But just you may want to watch that video anyway, because it's going to be key to a lot to this video and the one that's going to come immediately afterwards.
He then pulls up his skirt to reveal a cutie mark drawn on his butt cheek.
You're saying about the store, right street, Walmart?
Chris, just stop. Just stop, please. Stop it, Chris.
You pass Lowe's.
Oh, the things I do for love. I forgot the glitter. Check your progress. Check my progress.
After he sent her the video, Christian apologized for having filmed in the changing room as the Walmart was too crowded, and for forgetting the glitter. They also exchanged ideas for a future video called Cake Farts, inspired by a shock website and video, during which he would fart onto and then sit on a cake. Chris apparently came up with a way to get more air inside him so he could expel more farts during filming. He also wanted Jackie to come to his house and meet his parents before they have sex. On July 16th, he had a supposed phone conversation with Jackie's drunk father. There is no known recording of their phone call. She then specified what he should do and say during the cake farts video, including writing the phrase, "awesome sauce," on his butt cheeks. On July 18th, Chris bought a $9 chocolate and fudge cake from Walmart. He cut off a slice and ate it, and also the chocolate candies placed on top of it. After he took a shower, he filmed his cake farts video.
Thank God he took a shower, but that's not going to... I'm just not going to say anything. Just enjoy this next part. This is just...
Hey, Jackie Pie. You know what I like most? Cake farts.
I already dedicated nearly an hour of my life to talking about this, so I'm just gonna... At least you have the sense to censor this. That's a good thing.
Let's get this done. Let's do this.
And yes, this is a thing that actually happened. I'm as disappointed as you are, guys.
What the hell am I doing here?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell am I doing? I paid $90 for this cake. That's a lot of yen. Hawaii! Bye, Japan.
On July 20th, Chris's secret alias and public posts on the Tomboys and Tomgirls of Virginia forum were shared on the Quickie. He used this opportunity to reveal his true identity on the forum and discuss his troubles concerning the website and the trolls. My Tomgirl and Tomboy acquaintances, I feel it is time I introduce myself better. I'm more than just a Tomgirl. I am the high-functioning autistic person who was heavily emotionally damaged, artistic inspiration lost with paranoia, deception, blackmail, and plain hurtful words from those bottom-feeding trolls. I am the hand-drawing original creator of Sonichu, Rosechu, and the city of Quickville, Virginia, USA. I am Christian Weston Chandler of Ruckersville, Virginia. I had joined this forum with the opportunity to associate with my own misunderstood kind of people, commonly mistaken for amongst the gays and lesbians. I concealed my identity on here reasonably, prayerfully not to be found by those trolls. For years, I have fallen victim to their treachery. I've tried within my own limited knowledge and technology to counterattack those fiends. I've mostly
Limited is an
failed,
understatement.
and as a result, my reputation on the internet fell deep into their treacherous exaggerations, lies, and crap. If I had any knowledge or technology, I would have hacked into and destroyed every one of their web pages and whatnot long ago, but I did and still do not. All I could do in the end was hide in the old-fashioned, as it would appear to be now, world of real life, off of the internet. Yet I'm one who does not like to be left behind in the modern world. Also, because of them, it has been impossible for me to get a job. Damned negative background checks. And I would appreciate reducing the results of my full name from over 2 freaking million results back down to less than 100. Now that they have found me on here,
still a lot,
y'all have been
100.
dragged into my darkness. For that, I feel deep shame and regret, and I'm really sorry about that. I'm not the disgruntled, mean, or perverted person they have mislabeled of me. I'm
Well, yes, you kind of still are.
only a normal, heterosexual, good-natured, high-functioning autistic tomgirl, and I want to be treated like a normal person. And I wish I do not have to be paranoid
You could start by trying acting like a normal person, Chris, by not sitting on cakes and filming it for the world.
of those fiends and their hurtful web pages. Some members of the forum claimed to possess family members or acquaintances who are allegedly qualified to help him, and offered their services to track down and reveal the true identities of all of his trolls. At the same time, during his email correspondence with Jackie, she let him know that she was grounded by her parents, unable to go out to meet him for a date. Chris was understandably disappointed by the news, but noted that she was much better off than him since she had a job. Chris then told her that he made a new Facebook account with high privacy settings so that the trolls would not be able to access it. He asked her to send him a friend request. He also sent her photos of his erect penis and his self-proclaimed cleavage.
Good to know.
Let's go, girls.
6 days later, Chris notified Jackie that he was still working on a new album from Robbie Sonny and the Tom Girls, a musical effort made in the same vein as his previous Christian and the Hedgehog Boys albums. The songs featured many tributes to Jackie and being a Tom girl, after revealing to Jackie that Sonichu and Rosechu's child, Robbie, was in fact a Tom girl himself. The album would eventually be leaked by trolls. He also made mention of his ongoing scheme to take down the trolls, citing an article he found on the Hook website, which stated that the owner of the game place, Robert Lightfire, was a convicted sex offender, and hoped that he would be able to find similarly incriminating information on the man who did the Hook. He also made mention of his ongoing scheme to take down the trolls, citing an article he found on the Hook website, which stated that the owner of the game place, Robert Lightfire, was a convicted sex offender, and hoped that he would be able to find similarly incriminating information on the manager of the store, Michael Snyder. Chris told Jackie that only she, his parents, and his fellow tomgirls and tomboys from the forum knew about his plan. After compiling falsified information provided to him by the trolls from the Tomboys and Tomgirls forum, Christian began a campaign of intimidation, which would become known as the Calling Out Saga, during which he would give out hints at trolls' presumably true identities in an attempt to get them to come out of hiding. On August 6th, he made his first calling out video, directed at Surfshack Tito.
Attention, citizens of the internet. I am making a return. Y'all should know me by now, if in case you don't. I am Christian Weston Chandler, the original creator of Sonichu and Rosechu and the Electric Hedgehog Pokemon. And with that, I will now continue with why I am making my return. I am ready to initiate negotiations and paybacks with the trolls and cyberbullies that have been defiling me within the past 5 years, within the past 4 years. Firstly, I would like to make it well known that I have information
No, you
of
don't.
such trolls and cyberbullies, of which, at that point, if I released them, they could be easily trolled back by anyone. And the first among the chopping block I would like to ensue, Surfshack Tito, or should I say, Don in Michigan. And I'm not saying that he's a total fat person, but he would make the really big Buddha look like a supermodel in comparison. In fact, with his looks, he could be a Rasta Buddha. And I show you only a
Yeah, well, how about you show us a fragment of your friggin' who was he makes yeah, well, but that being said, Chris makes people like Akebono look like Gandhi. And in case you don't know who Akebono is, he was a world famous sumo wrestler about 15 or so years ago, and he was someone who weighed nearly 557 pounds.
A fragment of the photograph.
That's like about 273 kilos, I think.
Now, Don, let's talk business. If you do not want me to reveal the entire photograph or any of the remainder of your information of which I have upon my possession, you will follow my demands. I want you to come forward with your participation in PlayStation Network hackings directly to Sony Computer Entertainment America and Sony Computer Entertainment Japan with a live video, unaltered. You will apologize to Sony and myself for hacking into the PlayStation Network at all, because I know you are responsible for that.
How though?
And also, I would like you to, within that same video or in a separate video, apologize directly to my ex-girlfriend and her family, because I would like to have peace between my past friends.
They won't have anything
because
to...
I don't like there to be bad things and ill tidings between people.
Too late for that.
And I know it was partially my fault too on that, by the way, within that relationship breakup.
You weren't...
But anyway, moving on with my demands, I would also like you to send me via U.S. mail $1,000 cash, American, unmarked bills, snail mailed to my home address in a long, small white envelope.
He had to think through every part of that.
Home address, clearly, legibly handwritten on the envelope in the return area. And
telling people how to write letters now, is that what we're doing, Chris?
Lastly, from this point, after you have done these things, I would like you, Dawn of Michigan, to leave me, my life, my family, my friends alone to be, for the rest of our lives, in peace. Expect another video in the near future of another troll that I am well aware of. Thank you.
Later that day came the second installment of Chris calling out the trolls.
I call to your attention Master Thorg, Thorg, or as he known in real life, Jeremy, within Canada. He is a pizza-faced atheist.
That means absolutely nothing,
You can
Chris.
find him possibly in a video game store. I leave the specifics disclosed at this time. And here is a sample of his photograph. Because I know and I am well aware that you have photoshopped me into that damned gay bar and uploaded it, you had it uploaded upon the billboards in New York City within some time ago. I would like you to make a public apology that it is a correction, that I, Christian Weston Chandler, am straight, and I have never ever been in a damned gay bar ever. And I want that uploaded among the New York City billboards, and I want them left up there for 1 whole week. Stay tuned for another revealed troll, or slightly revealed, as I am on the payback!
They should have just called this the or slightly saga, because I don't particularly think any of these are going to work.
Win.
His final video of the day was a short clarification of deadlines concerning the two trolls he had just addressed.
I almost forgot. between Don and Jeremy, also known as Surf Shack Tito and Thorg, my demands, I would like them met before August 31st, 2011, the end of this month. And if my demands are not met before then, I'm going to reveal your respective real-life photographs as well as the rest of the personal information of you two respectively that I have within my possession. And then you two will each be trolled by your own trolls. And the police will catch up with you.
Sure, Chris.
3 days later, he came out with his next calling out video, this time directed at Alec Benson Leary.
The one called Alec Benson Leary is not who he appears to be, and he certainly is not an original creator of Asperchew. In fact, he is not even Aspergian. He does not have Asperger's. And he's another fatty, fat. Anyway, he also has ties with the gaming hobby place, of which he makes donations. Of which I have another expose about the game place. First, he is close up. Oh yeah, his real name is Christopher. So, Chris, let's talk business now.
Do you think you could do that while keeping your camera still, Chris?
What I would like from you is essentially a live video apology for all the wrongs you have done to me over the internet, including the copyright infringement on my sideshow with your cheap, poor excuse of a 9-year-old Asperchew, you immature jerk. Also, on that note, I wish to make a correction to my demands with Don and Jeremy. Essentially, I have learned from my esteemed colleague, associate, that apparently it is extortion to request mucho dinero, and plus the billboard is no longer in effect. Anyway, going back to Christopher. By the way, I know you're in Texas. You're in Texas, you fatty fat. He has been donating to the troll cause as such over at the place, the Game and Hobby place, of which we are fully aware of and have grown to love and such. But there is more to the place, and it's 3 associated stores located only within Virginia. And I know from cold hard facts, the 4 stores, their owner, a one Mr. Robert Lightburn, is a child molester and convicted sex offender in Illinois. And think about this. The place in Charlottesville is located right across from a school. Parents, children, associate families. I do not think you would want anybody who is a minor or even under the age of 10 to go into such a place that is owned by a child molester. And I'm sure that in association, even though he is married, Michael Snyder has his own child molestation skeletons in his closet.
No, he does not,
Chris.
Chris.
He molested his own daughter, for all I know.
You don't know, though, Chris. That's the thing. And
so therefore, that is just theory until I am corrected. Stay tuned for another.
You'll be starting to wonder why Michael Snyder did not respond to this video and say that you say that and I'm going to call the police, because that's a very serious accusation to make. And then I'll tell the police about the stuff you've been doing because people have told me about this and you're going to jail. That's what I would have done. If somebody was trying to make a suggestion that I was molesting my own children, oh, trust me, guys, I'm taking them down. The people said that, not my kids. You get the idea.
Troll expose.
Later that day, he uploaded an unusual video in which he goes out into his yard and replicates a scene from the 1990 film Silence of the Lambs, and mimes digging his dog Patty out from the ground. The exact origins behind the creation of this video are uncertain.
Sure is cold out here. We'll use some to keep me warm right now. Want some food?
Probably is.
There we are, all nice and snugly warm and cozy. Thank you, Patty. Now we are together forever. Would you fuck me, 789 Chen? I'd fuck me.
It's probably more than likely that Chris will be the only person who does, and what is he?
To meet Christian's demands before he revealed more information about the trolls, a falsified response video from Surfshack Tito was soon created, using the bare belly taken from a video by YouTuber Mr. Pregnant as the visual element over a voiceover allegedly provided by Tito himself.
I'll get you the money. I'll get you the $1,000 and the interest. Just don't release that video with the picture of me. Just don't do any more, man. I'll do anything. I'll be a slave for a whole week if I have to. I got people after me. I can't have them finding out who I am. Just.
On August 10th, Chris recorded a video responding to Surfshack Tito's response.
You made a wise decision, Don. As long as I get the money before the end of the month,
That's extortion, Chris.
I
You
will
know it.
withhold the photographs and the other information. I can promise you that. But miss the deadline, and you certainly don't have to be my slave for a week. I mean, aside from the slave laws and everything. Anyway, apparently I have learned from my esteemed colleague that Lord Master Jeremy is still not convinced that I mean business. Well, just to show you, Jeremy, that I mean business, I'm gonna reveal a little bit more about you. Here is a close-up, another close-up of that photograph zoomed in on your pizza face.
Oh, I get it now.
And we know that the atheist does not like having his mind changed about God. I mean, I gotta tell you, man, God is all-powerful. How do you think the earth was created aside from the Big Bang? Who had to put the Big Bang together? God. And I know from my Bible, my hand on it, that between him and Jesus, they're pretty powerful. They're pretty powerful individuals. And I believe in them. They have, I mean, Jesus has done a lot with his miracles before he had to weigh the cross, which I just empathize with him on that. I mean,
No, you don't, Chris. The whole point, Chris, was that he was going to give himself up for the world. He was going to die so that our sins could be forgiven. Chris, there's almost not much else you could look into it than that.
it's like I could feel the thorns that were plowed through his hands and his feet.
Fawn of Crowns. He doesn't even know about Jesus' last days, does he? And I'm talking about before his crucifixion, not before the ascension.
Crowns. Empathy is a powerful thing. But
Cocaine's a
I certainly would
powerful
not
drug
want to
too.
be an atheist, because if I don't have God or Jesus on by my side, I would be more lost than I was considerably beforehand.
First of all, can I just make another point about him if he's going to bring religion into this, then I will as well. If let's say yes, God is on Chris's side, but he's on everyone's side. Really, he loves everybody respectfully. However, do you think God would be that pleased with you trying to extort people, or pleased with the fact that you're after a girl purely for sex, or that you're insulting people? Do you think that's wise? Do you think God will be happy when you do that?
Atheists are the devil's spawning, as it would seem.
Very droll, Mr. Chris.
And I certainly would not want to be amongst them.
I don't think they would want you
run
to be
out of
them
town
either.
with the pitchforks and the haste and the fire. As a believer, I would either be I would more likely be the peacemaker, or I certainly wouldn't mind being one with a pitchfork, following the crowd and pushing the atheists out of town.
Again, Chris knows jack shit about Christianity, because he's missed the point entirely.
Because if you don't respond by the 31st,
threatening violence.
I mean business. Check your privileges.
This was soon followed by a video clarifying the supposed ex-girlfriend status of the wallflower, brought about by a reference to her in an earlier video.
In the recent video, where I mentioned that was my ex-girlfriend, I did not mean that the way it sounded. I meant the term loosely, as in that she was a girl and that she was a friend of mine. But then, because of what happened
Chris.
soon after, or near the end of the friendship, she dumped me as a friend and doesn't want anything to do with me ever again. And also, just an additional note to Don over there. If he wants to keep me updated more quickly instead of recording new videos, he may still contact me at my AOL address, of which him as well as the majority of the other trolls are aware of. Yes. Dang it! I'm losing my seriousness here. Lost it there.
You didn't have it,
I am very
Chris.
serious on getting justice. What I've been waiting for the past 4 years. Anyway, with that, I also would like to mention that I rarely do not check my voicemails. Pretty much I check them when they exceed like 10 or so, because I'm still paranoid of people abusing me over the phone lines. Yeah. So I just leave y'all with that for this. Have a good day.
On August 12th, Chris made a video exposing what he believed to have been Thorg's true identity. The person showcased was in fact Finnish internet user Kimmo KM, whose likeness was used in a popular internet-based image macro.
This is his trolling persona photograph. And of course, here's the full photograph, of which I have shown previously in full persona. Troll alias Thor. Real name Jeremy Sloan-White. Resides in Vancouver, BC, Canada. Occupation, employee over at GameStop over there. Age 32. He is a single virgin.
He was responsible for leaking the tomboys and tomgirls of Virginia to the public through the quickie, photoshopping me into a gay bar which Clyde Cash uploaded to a billboard in New York City, New York. He participated in the trolling train. He contributed bad things into my mailbag on the Wikipedia and general YouTube quickie trolling and support roles. And following that, we have 2 more photographs of Master Jeremy Sloan White. What an ugly son of a bitch. Really ugly. Eh. And then here's a more recent one where he plays atheist against me. Everybody, please feel free to troll Mr. Jeremy Sloan White, age 32, in Vancouver, BC, Canada, at the GameStop of which he works at. Atheist, be gone! And then right after that, everybody can stay tuned for next trolling. Next troll I will be reviewing a little bit of info of, which, now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go fix my teeth with a bottle of Jack.
On that same day, he recorded a video of himself reciting a poem he had written for Jackie.
Okay, anyway, The Red Maned Deer, from me, written yesterday on the 11th, came to me while I was waking up. The red maned deer is quite an elusive, majestic creature of any forest of this planet Earth, and even of the universe. Her dazzling coat not only keeps her warm, but beautiful with sexy flair. She has eyes of green, like a slice of lime. Her snout is so cute, like a bunny or a kitten, and her smile and voice truly cute and sweet like a lute. I trekked after her for months, keeping observation and camouflage. She has an interesting family, including her birth mother and a father a step away. They treat her sadly like a Cinderella, keeping her from seeing her prince. One day, as I followed, too much my surprise, she turns her head and looks directly at me. I hid for a short moment until she spoke in my language very clear. Come out, my dear watcher. I have been very aware of you all these months. I've watched you as you rested and dined out the forest fruits. Please come closer, stroke my coat and mane. Allow me to admire your face close to mine. I approached with erect elation, her coat smooth as silk, her mane brushing my fingers like a spring breeze. I looked into her eyes as she to mine. Entranced with her temptation and beauty, I was truly surprised when she kissed me deep.
I think we all are, Chris.
Damn. And then I kissed her back, and we made truest sweet love. This was in fact not an act of bestiality, for you see, the red-maned deer I have been communicating with and tracking is really my womanly sweetheart named Jacqueline Rami. I love you.
With Chris's recent reemergence back into the internet spotlight, trolls and onlookers felt like they were experiencing a return of old norms. Yet another sweetheart saga, alongside another ploy to defeat the trolls. But little did anyone know, his colorful online presence would be suddenly cut short by a tragic event that would drastically change Chris's life.
So we've got that was the end of part 35. Sorry guys, I felt like that was still a lot to take in. Aside from the dancing, the cake farting, the planned extortion plans Chris was trying to elaborate. how exactly... If anybody had like any prediction about from when we first started this this series of basically from the very beginning of Chris's life to where it's all sort of led up to, would any one of you at home care to have guessed that this is exactly how Chris's life would have turned out to be? Because what's sort of like happening now, ladies and gentlemen, is that many people, again, the trolls sort of like saw that this was just going to be like a return to norm, like things would be kind of the same as before. People would take advantage and come up with some really, really out there female personas to get on Chris's side about, you know, him being a tomgirl and all that. Unfortunately, as we all know, well, that is if you watch the majority of Chris stuff at all, is that what happens next is actually kind of upsetting. And as opposed to the whole thing about the calling out, there's no point in even trying to reference the calling out saga because it's basically, it was doomed to fail from the very beginning. And so, logically, the next thing we have to point out is that, well, are you guys ready to experience what's going to happen next time? Because what happens is not going to be for the faint of heart, because I've got a pretty good ideas to guess about what's going to happen. And I think this is like filmed, let's say, the very, like, the end of July, possibly early August in 2011. And if you're wondering exactly what this tragic event is that's going to be taking place, well, it's going to become clear in the next video. So, until then, well, again, the thing about, you're going to have like a pretty strong, I don't want to say you have to have a pretty strong stomach for what's about to happen next, because it's tough what happens next, don't get me wrong. But I think in how it escalates and how it led to Chris's life, again, spiraling almost completely out of control, I think you could almost say is that next time we'll establish some very, very different points about the way of Chris's life, if they weren't absolutely insane already. So until then, I hope you guys have enjoyed part 35, and I hope to see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care, bye bye for now.